warm up info. You know what I mean? That the people can also.
Did you get posted? Because I sent it to you. Did you receive it?
Yeah, yes. I just looked over the outline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. But that's what I've been pushing for. I told them I already went out there and did it. All they told me was get your people and make your announcement.
Okay.
You know, pretty much it was the same thing they told anybody else who tried to do something for us.
Right.
That's not our responsibility. Go get your people and to make your announcement.
You know what I was just thinking too about, like, you know, how they had us all caught up over the summer on all this Black Lives Matter nonsense and all of that, blah, blah, blah. People all out there in the streets protesting. But now when you present something like this, that's worth standing up and protesting for, and motherfuckers ain't gonna want to jump, you know what I'm saying, get on this. But you say some punk faggoty shit, oh, Black Lives Matter, you know, this isn't right, and, yeah, we need justice, and, you know what I'm saying, everybody want to stand out for that little punk shit, you know what I'm saying, but
right, and that's the part that be frustrating me because I be telling them, man, this ain't for those who want to make up hypotheticals about what they're going to do. I want people who want to do it and then see what's going to happen because I told them this is a new age of time. Ain't nobody going to stand by and let them try to do nothing to us and we claiming our freedom. Everybody else in the world has done it. So it's our turn now. Now enough of us are awake and we're dealing with this knowledge. It's time to apply it the way it's supposed to be applied. What I took from Noble Joe Ali was the fact that we should have our own. You know, he made emphasis on how other people are promoting who they are, where they're from. We need to do the same thing. Everybody got their own little government, their own little union, and we never had one. And everybody want to keep trying to tell me, well, we been did that. We all didn't did shit. The world don't know. Nobody know who you are.
Right.
You ain't got enough.
Right, brothers be saying the same thing in God's earth. So I talk about brothers came forth with constitutions and so forth. Yeah, but it didn't get implemented because it didn't get past the now cipher hater crew. You know what I'm saying? Every time an idea gets brought forth before the nation, there's a little group that comes together, get on a now cipher, the father didn't teach that, and then no idea never gets brought forth. It never comes into fruition because it don't get past these few individuals who act like they safeguarding Allah's teachings or something. Like, man, we all got the mathematics. We know what he taught. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you. Everybody want to say what they taught, how they taught. This is the right way. This is the wrong way. Don't nobody know because y'all wasn't there with the people. You wasn't thinking it with them. You don't know how they move. You don't know the sacrifice they had to make. So stop talking about something that we have never received.
Right.
We ain't never been free. So how you gonna tell me? You know, the last couple of people they trying to tell me we were going to make corrections and critique. I said, how you going to critique something you ain't never did?
Right, right.
The whole new
yeah, like this cat I'm talking to on yes sir, yes sir. And you go back to that one second before I cut you off. This cat I was talking to you know, saying yesterday he talked about and I'm thinking about he ain't been to a law school in 23 years, and I'm like, dude. 23 years, and you gonna try to tell me what the atmosphere of the school is like, and da 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 da. Man, you going off of shit you heard. And even if you saying certain things ain't right and exactly whatever, then you need to come there in the flesh, be the said person of that ability, and come and rectify whatever you feel is not right and exact. You know what I'm saying? Instead of sitting there on Facebook typing and talking and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
And that's it. I came with solutions to every one of these groups I done hit up. And join and hit up and let them know that this is what we need to be thinking about. Forget about these petty arguments about who did what, who was the first and stuff like that.
Right.
The bottom line is we have this one thing in common. We know collectively that centuries and centuries these people have been dogging us. So we can just go with that. Inside, make this announcement, and then start rebuild ourselves. And when we tell them hands off of us, that's it. That's all we need to do. Nigga, y'all system has no effect on us whatsoever. Whoever signs up with you, that's who that applies to. But as far as we go, and my nation go, my people go, we up under this. And it's on your desk. There it is. We ain't got to go through no legal processes. We just tell them what the deal is and give them a notice. That's what I did. I just gave them a notice. This is what we're going to do, regardless of not you want to meet the demands of the reparations that we seek. Because I sent you the complaint that I sent to the World Court too, and that's what the demands that I made. That should be enough to get us going, and from there on, sky's the limit.
How will you,
if they comply?
How were you able to address the World Court?
Well, I just put it put it together, man. It's like people think this shit is a difficult process. It's not. You speak from the heart. You speak with truth and facts, and that's all I did. So, like I said, I noticed that we didn't have a union of our own, a government, a structure that will help us facilitate the mass quantities of this reparations that we're asking for. I had studied when I was in the belly. I had studied this channel. It had BT Jazz, I think, and it was like for our people. And on this program, they had these brothers and sisters going to Capitol Hill trying to get reparations, right? So the speaker or the judge, he say, well, what is your plan that you have in motion that you will be able to properly facilitate these mass quantities of funds and establish yourself? And they couldn't give them one because they didn't come up with the idea of making a government body, making their own business or corporation, as they would say. But the way that I look at it, then that's what they was missing. So I created the structure and I put it out there. And that's all I did, man. It wasn't nothing to speak about. I addressed them as anybody else would address them. Hey, look, y'all know our story. We've been dogged over here now. Enough of us is awake, and now we're declaring our independence from this power, this foreign power that has been oppressing us, basically. You know what I mean? And this is what we're going to do from here on out. We want you to announce to the world community that this is what it's going to be from here on out, and this is what we demand in return. You know, this is the reparations because all of y'all benefited from our denationalization and inhumane treatment. The Arab League, the European Union, and all those other countries that had a hand in the what they call the transatlantic.
The African Union too. You know what I'm saying? Don't forget about them. They fucking with them too. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. But yeah, it's crazy though because it's like now that a lot of the quote unquote European nations have like dominated aspects of the globe. It's like when other people try to join into these like unions and stuff like that, they got to deal with the same people that's been doing the domination and imperializing and all of that. You know what I'm saying? The colonizing and all of that. Right. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? We could try to say like, oh, well, we're trying to do something new for the future. But man, we remember the foundation in which you stand on. You know what I'm saying? Ain't like you change. You know what I'm saying? And all of that.
Nobody no fool.
Right.
So ain't nobody no fools. We know who y'all are. So this is why I be telling these brothers in the Morris House Temple. I be like, man, look, stop utilizing and relying on their legal philosophy. They freestyled this shit off the top of the dome. We taught them a little bit, but what we taught them, they took and perverted it, like everything else we taught them. So when they gave it back to us, it was in this slave form. Well, we're chattel slaves. They talk about the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment ain't do nothing but allow them to give corporations the same right as humans. Therefore, they can use you as a fiction. So we never had true citizenship. We were never a part of this union. The Dred Scott case, the slaughterhouse cases. You read all these things. We were never meant to be a part of them, and we're not. And that's how they've been treating us. Like I say, their constitution to this day still says we 3/5 of a human being, and that's only because we haven't come together on our own. They call us minorities because we're still minors mentally. We're incapable of handling our business on a governmental scale, and that's what they were saying. So when Noble Drew Ali had spoken the literature saying something about how the North clothed the South with the power that they had. So if they could clothe themselves, I'm like, damn, the simple solution is to clothe ourselves because we're not with them. We're separate. And then too, we have a claim, a righteous claim. If anybody try to question our position, look here, we done fought on both sides of all your wars, except the Vietnam. We have invented everything, and we put up with the torture, and we put in the work. So you can't tell us nothing. Y'all dangled 40 acres in the mules. We gonna hold y'all to that. But nowadays that mule is gonna be a tractor, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? We have to set our demands, and if they don't want to meet them, look, you still don't have us anymore. So what you gonna do? They can't do shit.
So what do we do about as far as where we are gonna domicile? You know what I'm saying? Because if we still gotta be here in this
land, domicile wherever we at. That's the beauty of it. We're like I say, we're utilizing the same Social Security system with those accounts. So nothing's changed. It's already in play. They just haven't been using it to the benefit of people. Now we're telling them you're going to use this within our benefit. You know understand what I'm saying?
How do you do that though? Like how do you like basically how are you going to like force them to basically change their policies? because they have policies that they go by and so forth and all of that pertaining to that.
They may have their policies, but when they're dealing with a whole different separate nations, our policies we can deal with.
You know what I mean? Because they have to respect the rules of the other nation as well.
Yeah, we're telling them this is your equivalent of your document, but this is how we handle it. We deal in love, true peace, freedom, and justice. We straight up. If you want the manpower, we'll supply it. You need the intelligence, we'll supply it. As long as you supply on your end, we can and reneging on deals like the last people you dealt with. We straight up with ours. Our yes is our yes and our no is our no. There's no ifs, ands, or buts or maybes about how we deal in business and commerce. We have the right to the European or the pale face nations. They are not the only ones who are capable of developing law and definitions of law. We just haven't been in the arena of rulership or for a while, so we still thinking more or less like subjects and going along with whatever they put forth. But we can also add something to the table that would change the game in the ways that people do business, because it's going to be like a fresh breath of air when we step back on the scene, because they're going to want to come do business with us and not them. And the contract that I drew up and the treaty that I drew up, ain't nobody paying no taxes. Not even corporations. If you provide the livelihood for the people that's here, why do you have to pay any taxes? You get your bread and they get their bread.
Equal consideration.
So if you provide livelihoods for people, there should be no taxes. So automatically we're going to pull a lot of companies to us. Ain't no tax. Just providing jobs for the people that's good with us. Pay them a decent wage so they can enjoy the fruits of their labor, and we all eat them. But we don't understand that we have the power to step up and do that and command and do business on our own behalf. We've been letting these people control our destiny for far too long. That's why when we go to other places, they, more or less get their nose turned up at us because they think that we embody what they embody. Now we have to separate ourselves from that to let the world know, like, look, we ain't with none of that junk they've been on. Never have, never will be. And y'all know what we've been going through. Y'all stood by and watched.
Right.
Y'all stood by and watched. So now that we have resurrected ourselves and dusted ourselves off, this is what we demand for our thing. And if y'all don't want to do that, y'all just ain't got us no more. So whether or not, because they use us for everything. All they products. That's why these brothers be selling their soul with these contracts in the industry, because they got to push the product and the imagery and the agenda that these companies have and what they want to do with the youth, how they want to mislead them down this path and that path. So once we step back on the scene and take control of our own narrative, then we control our music, we control everything 100%. Because they don't have us no more. They've been making money off of us. They have no money really. Because without the people, you have nothing. And like I say, within their own document, the Declaration of Independence, they say when the government becomes destructive to these ends, we got the right to jump ship. Fuck you, we ain't never been a part of you anyway.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. We're not even technically citizens. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so it's like, what the fuck? This shit's like just a false. This shit's a false ass lie. Like they just been telling us, oh yeah, you're this, you're that, you got these rights and man. You don't have nothing, man. You don't have no rights at all. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I be like, man, fuck the state, fuck the county, even fuck the federal. You know what I'm saying? It's about international law. Right. You know what I'm saying? We got to realize that international law. And that's where it's at. If we ain't dealing on that level, man, then we ain't really saying
dealing at all. And that's exactly what I'm saying to you, God. And that's what I've been trying to preach to these brothers. We are all men of our own entire nation. We have been stripped of everything, and they know it. So how you gonna stack the deck against us and then tell us to pull ourselves up? No, fuck you. You had this information. We had to get it from the grind. Some had to get it in the belly of the beast, like I did. Some get it because their parents inherited it from the civil rights movement and stuff like that, the Black Panther movement and stuff. But other than that, the majority of us, or 85% of us, they don't even care. They want to go to work, they want to go to school, get a job, hustle, sell pussy, or do this, that, and the other, and they're not worried about what's going over our head. We ain't even thinking about, having our own shit. We content with what the devil gave us. We love the devil because the devil gives us nothing, and we haven't really realized that it's nothing. We have been given nothing. We have never had any good times. Even the fucking song, the theme song from Good Times, is called, you know what I mean?
and you're right, right. We being taught to celebrate hardships. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Lucky we got him. Ain't we lucky we got him.
Right. Good time. Yeah, right. Yeah, that was some bullshit, right?
That don't sound like good times.
Yeah, right. Oh shit.
Right.
And then they gave us the Jeffersons moving on up. We still got a little deluxe apartment in the sky. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, finally got a piece of the pie. And we was happy. We was happy to be nappy.
See, because I take my cues from a lot of things, man, that the imagery that has been given to me over the years. Like, there was this anime called Geass, and it was about how this superpower named Britannia had stripped Japan of their nationality and started calling them 11s, and they stayed in the ghetto and shit like that. And this cat was lost from royalty. They murdered his mother and all that, so he grew up in the ghetto with the 11s or with the Japanese, and he was using the chess method to get back at the kingdom that had murdered his mother and enslaved his other side of his family. And things like that imagery let me know about the revolution. Listening to Ghost in the Shell, some of their dialogue was just deep as fuck. You know what I mean, about revolution and trying to stand up and what they was doing. Because if you peep game, man, the only people on this continent that don't have their own is us. We think that the red, white, and blue represents us. It doesn't. Everybody else around us had a flag. That's why I don't understand why a lot of people get mad if a Haitian tell them, look, man, I'm not black, because they know the difference between being black and being Haitian. Right. They know being black doesn't tie them to any continent. Right. It doesn't tie them to any people. Right.
And we take it as a
birthright will come with it.
Right. And we take it as offense, like, oh, what you mean you ain't black? Would you trying to sell out or something? Would you think white or something? You ain't nothing. But no, they saying it as far as status is concerned, because they know when they come over here, and that's why, right? That's why they got that like mentality toward us. Not like it's like racist or whatever, but it's just that we don't understand nationality, politics, status, or anything like that. So they come over here like, yo, what the fuck? Y'all in a country that actually has opportunities, and y'all not even taking advantage of the shit. Like, what are y'all doing? You know what I'm saying? They're looking at us like we look, but not understanding that the specific situation we've been placed in this country, we don't have the opportunity to come from the outside and come in through naturalization and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Right.
But like I said, they started over there with y'all first. With our people over there. You know what I mean? Before they started, they was beefing out with us. We was still scrapping and fighting with them, but still, once they did their thing, they came over to colonize y'all, colonialize y'all first with the Jesus and all of that stuff like that. That's why you had that type of stuff over there. They changed up the matriarch to a patriarch. A lot of those kingdoms wasn't based on the king alone. The queen mother had a higher ranking, in our society.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's just a lot of those things that we get away from. And then, like I say, when it boils down to us over here, Noble Drew Ali was the first one to come over here with that demonstration. The esoteric gave us basically the esoteric, because what I be telling a lot of Moors, they be trying to halo worship the man. I say he was just a man just like you who had an idea to try to free his people or bring some type of relief to the to the motherfucking destruction or genocide that was taking place. And I was like, if he had the information you know now, I guarantee you he would do things totally different. Just like Martin Luther King realized, he said, with the integration movement, that he was leading his people into a burning house.
Right.
Same thing with Noble Drew Ali, by incorporating us into the same monster that's destroying your people.
Right. And see, and then
establish us by ourselves. That was the whole thing. Our nationality, they know who we were. That's what I'm trying to tell people. They knew who we were before we did. We got the knowledge, like I said, on the humbug, on the grind. But they already had this knowledge of us while we were still trying to discover who we were. So it's all fraud. You know what I mean? Ain't no contract, whether it be the birth certificate or the Social Security. Can't nothing bind you to genocide or slavery and mistreatment. There was no such contract that could ever exist. Whether they want to take it from our law or their law, going back to Hammurabi, somebody try to bring that up, and I'm like, look, man, that shit ain't got nothing to do with us right now. I said, if you haven't learned from their mistakes in the past to figure out what to do now, I said, you're not thinking right. And I said, that's where I come in at. I said, I seen the mistakes that Drew Ali made, and I seen the mistakes that Garvey and Malcolm and all these brothers have made.
And part of stuff, I wouldn't even say mistakes, but the steps, the strides that they made at, like you said, at their time with the information they had. So really, they didn't necessarily make mistakes, but they just did what they did at the time. And like you said, now we have more information, so we got to follow in their footsteps. They laid blueprints for us.
But I'm talking about, like, in the sense of looking back. We can look back and see an error. You see what I'm saying? Not saying that they were erroneous in their action. What they were doing with the information was moving towards to try to set us free and establish us, some type of justice and equality for us. I did that, but I'm telling you, by analyzing it, though, the mistake was integration and incorporating. We take that out and just say, we are a nation. We know who we are. You know who we are, even before this took place. Now we're going to put this cherry tree back up, and that's how it's going to be. You do you, we do us.
Right.
And, that's what I'm trying to say, because even with Marcus Garvey, his flaws and stuff like that, even with all his wisdom, you still calling us Negroes. And then, too, when you talk about the teachers of the Noble Drew Ali, that whole Moorish Circle 7 is the Aquarian Gospel written by Eli. It's Gnostic Christianity.
Right.
There's nothing Islamic about it except the word Allah.
See, and that's why, right, exactly. And that's why I tell a lot of people too, we got to change that term ecclesiastic. You know what I'm saying? Because ecclesiastic is referring to Christian, Christian church.
Exactly.
Which is, biblical law, canon law. You know what I mean?
So let me ask you in the belly. I'm gonna hit you right back.
All right, yes, sir. I'm gonna send you the link, God, and you can come in on the Google.
All right, send you the link.
All right, peace, God. Yeah, man, we got the brother Ross Symba in the building. As y'all can already see, man, the brother's dropping high science, man. Listen, man, he just, when I called the brother just a little earlier, man, woo, man, he blew my mind, yo. You hear how you had a God going in fluently. He started dropping that science on me, man. I just had a whole paradigm shift in my mind in the past 2 hours, man. Word is bomb. You know what I'm saying? So, and God, I love that, G. So I'm glad that the God came to the Universal Temple, because this is the type of information that I'll be trying to present to the people. This is what I want y'all to, not saying everybody got to come on and be high science like him, but I'm just saying, but this is the type of stuff I'll be saying, like, yo, this is high science information, man. Y'all in for a treat tonight, man. The brother's about to come back in, and he's about to he's about to do his presentation, and the floor is his. See, when somebody come through well-educated, knowledgeable, like that, man, I'm falling back, man. The floor is yours. Do your thing, dog. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have to come in. I don't have to oversee anything. I don't have to, you know what I mean? Because, certainly, this is my channel. I ain't going to just let anybody come on and say anything. But I hear what the brother's saying, so I want to chop it up with him a little bit, see where he's coming from before we go on. And, yeah, that's what it is, bro. So we're gonna come back in on the next session with Ra Symba, our special guest. You know what I mean? Peace, y'all. He's gonna break down he's gonna do his presentation. I don't know if he sent me the outline, but he's probably gonna go on his whole thing. I'm gonna let him share his screen and do his thing, man. So sit back and enjoy the treat. Come in on part 2, y'all. Peace.